Questions 1 through 4 on the 2016 Grade 12 Euclid Math Contest. What is the average of the integers? Well, add them up. 5 plus 15 plus 25 plus 35 plus 45 plus 55. And of course divide by the number of integers, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this case. And that sum is 180 divided by 6, and 180 divided by 6 is 30. If x squared is equal to 2016, what is the value of x plus 2 times x minus 2? X plus 2 times x minus 2, if you expand this, you will get x squared minus 4. X squared is 2016, so 2016 minus 4, and that is 2012. In the diagram, points 75, A, 2A, and 1230 lie on a straight line. Determine the value of A. Well, the line, as all lines have, an equation y equals mx plus b. So let's substitute these two guys to get what is m and b. When you sub in the first one, you get 5 is equal to 7m plus b. 1230, if you sub in that point, you get 30 is equal to 12m plus b. Subtracting, you get 5m is equal to 25, and therefore m is equal to 5. Substitute that back in to solve for b, and we'll get 30 is equal to 12 times 5, which is 60, plus b, and therefore b is equal to minus 30. So our equation is y is equal to 5x minus 30. And then we can substitute in a, 2a. So 2a for the value of y, a for the value of x. And that gives me 30 is equal to 3a. A, therefore, is equal to 10. What are the values for n, for which n over 9 is equal to 25 over n? N over 9 is equal to 25 over n. Cross multiply and you get n squared is equal to 9 times 25, which is 225. Take the square root of both sides and you get plus or minus 15 for n. What are the values of x for which x minus 3 times x minus 2 is equal to 6? Well, let's expand this. And when we do, we get x squared minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 6. Put everything on one side, and you get x squared minus 5x is equal to 0. Factor out the x, and you get x minus 5. And that means x is either equal to 0 or 5. And I always encourage to plug these back into here to verify that these are indeed correct solutions. At Willard's grocery store, the cost of 2 apples is the same as the cost of 3 bananas. Ross buys 6 apples and 12 bananas for a total cost of $6.30. Determine the cost of 1 apple. So 2a is equal to 3b, and therefore b is equal to 2a over 3. So we can plug that into the formula that 6 apples plus 12 bananas is equal to $6.30. And we know that 6a and then 12 times b is 2a over 3. So we can solve this now. So this is going to be 6a plus 8a is equal to 630. And that's 14a. Is $6.30. Dividing through, we get a is equal to 0.45, also known as 45 cents. 1 apple is 45 cents. In the diagram, point B is on AC and F is on DB, G is on EB. What is the value of P plus Q plus R plus S plus T plus U? Okay, we got to do a little bit of angle chasing here. This guy in there will be 180 minus P minus Q. This angle in there will be 180 minus T minus U. And this angle here, if I say call it Z, Z plus that 180 minus P minus Q plus that 180 minus T minus U, all of those add up to 180 because they're all angles about one line. So with this one, we get that Z is equal to P plus Q plus T plus U minus 180. Okay, so now finally this triangle, the sum of the angles add up to 180. So R plus S plus Z equals 180. R plus S, well, Z is this guy right here. That's P plus Q plus T plus U minus 180 is equal to 180. And therefore, if you put all the numbers on one side, all that's left with is R plus S plus P plus Q plus T plus U. And that's what they wanted. The sum of that is 360 degrees. Let n be the integer equal to 10 to the power of 20 minus 20. What is the sum of the digits of n? Well, let's start off with something small to illustrate it. Let's say instead of big number, let's say n is 10 to the power of 5 minus 20. A little bit easier. So that's going to be 1 followed by 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then minus 20. And this is 99980. Okay, so that's the same sort of story that we have for the big guy, which is 10 to the power 20 minus 20. That's really just going to be a whole bunch of zeros, 20 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then minus 20. Don't forget the minus 20. And when you do, you'll get a whole bunch of 9s and then an 80 at the end. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then an 80 at the end. So just as before, this was 5, and then here we only had 3 because the last two digits are taken. Here we had 20, and since the last two digits are taken, this is 18. 20 minus 2, basically. So the sum of the digits, sum of digits for that big long number, well, you're going to have to add 18 of those 9s, so 18 times 9, and then plus the 8 plus the 0. So 18 times 9 is 162 plus 8, so that is 170. A parabola intersects the x-axis at 2, 0, and 8, 0, P and Q. The vertex of the parabola is at V, which is below the x-axis. The area of triangle VPQ is 12. Determine the coordinates of V. All right, let's draw a little diagram, and let's see what we can draw. So 2, 0, and approximately 8, 0. So let's say it's something like this, that parabola. And they told me the vertex V is below the x-axis, so that's why I drew it like that. Okay, well, this is P, that's 2, 0, that coordinate, and this is Q, that's 8, 0. And then let's draw in the triangle that's made by P, Q, and V. So I guess the triangle is something like this. All right, and then I'll draw a little altitude there, a right angle. And I guess that's enough for us to figure out the area. So the area is 1/2 base times height. The area they told me is 12, and then the base is from there to there, so that's the difference between 8 and 2, so that's 6. And then the height is from here to here, So I guess that's the only variable I don't have. Solving this, we get 12 is equal to 3h, and therefore h is equal to 4. So that means this distance is 4. So that means this coordinate is minus 4, since it's below the x-axis. So the coordinates of v would be, well, that's the midpoint from 2 to 8. So 8 plus 2 divided by 2, so that's going to be 5. So that'll be the x-coordinate, and then the y-coordinate is this minus 4. So 5 minus 4 are the coordinates for the vertex v. Determine all angles theta with theta between 0 and 180 inclusive, and sine squared theta plus 2 cos squared theta is 7 over 4. Sine squared theta plus 2 cos squared theta is equal to 7 over 4. Sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equal to 1. This is a famous trig identity, one of the easier ones to remember out of the many. So that means that sine squared theta is equal to 1 minus cos squared theta. Substitute that into here, and then we get 1 minus cos squared theta plus 2 cos squared theta is equal to 7 over 4. So let's see here. We can have just cos squared theta will be 7 over 4 minus 1. So that will be 3 over 4. Okay, take the square root of both sides, and we get plus or minus root 3 over 2. And this is important. Don't go outside that range. I always draw a little graph for myself. Not that you really need to, but just if you feel that it helps. The graph of cos, right? So it's something like this, where this is 1 and negative 1. So if it's plus or minus root 3 over 2, the cos of that, so it'll be somewhere here and somewhere here, I believe. Yeah. Terribly a drawn graph, but that's okay. So theta is going to be, you can do this in a calculator. Obviously, you don't have to do it on paper, on a chart. I get values of 30 degrees and 150 degrees. So that's it. The sum of the radii of two circles is 10. The circumference of the larger circle is 3 greater than the circumference of the smaller circle. Determine the difference between the area of the larger circle and the area of the smaller circle. So I'll call them radius 1 and radius 2, and they say the sum is 10. All right? So that means that R1 is equal to 10 minus R2. The circumference of the first guy would be equal to pi 2 R1. The circumference of the second would be pi 2 R2. And they say that those circumferences differ by 3. So 2 pi R2, if R2 is the bigger one, would be equal to 2 pi R1 plus 3. And manipulating these, let's see here, 2 pi R2 minus 2 pi R1 is equal to 3. So if I factor out the 2 pi, I get R2 minus R1 is equal to 3. And therefore R2 minus R1 is equal to 3 over 2 pi. Okay. Now what do they want me to find? Determine the difference between the area of the larger circle and the area of the smaller circle. So the area of the larger circle will be pi R2 squared minus the area of the smaller circle, which is pi R1 squared. Factor out the pi, and I get R2 squared minus R1 squared. And then, let's see here, that factors, as we all know, R2 minus R1, R2 minus plus R1. Okay, let's see here. Well, this guy I just got was 3 over 2 pi. And then this one, R1 plus R2, well, that they give you in the question is just 10. So this looks like 30 over 2, and the pi's cancel. Yeah, so 15. And that's it.